evening and welcome to Calvin TV's News and Views. Well, here we are in the middle of our third big lockdown due to COVID-19. The restrictions we have to adhere to are stressing us out and making us anxious. We all miss the social things we do. We give off and we complain. We feel it's all out of our control and we feel there is nothing we can do. But that's not the way one person from Calvin felt. Local musicians took a time out during lockdown to do something creative. This evening I'm going to talk to Calvin musician. She's a singer, she's a composer, an arranger, a choir director, a accompanist, and a teacher. It is, of course, Calvin's own Eileen Tackney. Good evening, Eileen.
Hello, Anya. How are you? Now your picture's gone. I can't see anymore.
Great stuff, Eileen. Oh my God. That's okay. You just see yourself, is it? No, you can't see me. No, no, you can see me now.
You can see, and I prefer not to look too at myself. Yeah, we're good now.
That's better.
Yeah, your video.
You've been working really hard, and you have your third CD out, and that is Return Home. You've been working really hard, Eileen. You've 9 tracks on your CD. You are a fantastic musician. Now, Eileen, just for the folk out there, we talk about your background in music.
Well, I started off, I suppose, with trad. I suppose when I was about 7, but we would have done classical music as well as trad, and then did that all through school. And then I went and I did a few sort of random things, and then I ended up doing I did a BA was in music and studied the organ and did a HDip as well in education. And yeah, so here I am now.
Yeah. Of course, Eileen, this is your third CD. This is your third CD.
It is. Yeah, so this is, it's 5 years since I wrote the last one. So I think this time around I had the headspace to do it because of lockdown. There was nothing else to do. So I decided to get stuck into doing another one to see what would come out. So at the last minute, I saw an email from the Arts Office, so there was a COVID crisis bursary going, so I applied for that, and luckily I got it, so that sort of enabled me to do the whole process from beginning to end, and delighted to have been able to do it. It was great to get writing again, because I really missed it.
As I said there earlier on, you've got 9 tracks on your CD. And I'm just going to throw them out there. You've got 3 Worlds, Twilight, Dance of the Ladybird, Free Falling, House Secrets, what else? On the Road Again, The Return Home, and the song, the last song, Safest Houses. Eileen, I listened to your track over the week. I listened to your CD over the weekend. And it's fantastic work. It's you. It's mostly you on the piano and the synthesizer, and you layer all your tracks. Now you've brought in some musicians as well. You've got Andrew Malone on I think it's track 3. Is it you've used Andrew on track 3? And of course you bring in the brilliant Sue King on her viola on track 7. And a new thing for you as well now is brought in some percussion as well.
I did, and Carolyn Horns as well. She was playing the cello, and yeah, Kieran Leonard, he plays baron and percussion. So he did it from his studio in Enniskillen. So yeah, but it was nice to be able to bring the real musicians in you know, because it's mostly sort of synthesizers. So yeah.
And when you talk about layering, the layering of tracks, you've used your voice on some of the tracks, and you've layered your voice, and it's to fantastic effect. It gives it texture, as you say yourself.
Yeah, it's my voice suits that type of stuff, because on the last album I sort of needed somebody who could really belt it out, so I used Jo Beth Young from Talitha Rise. So I suppose because of restrictions, I thought to myself, well, I really probably should use my own voice now, so that's what I did. And yeah, it suits the stuff on this album. So this album is slightly different than the last one, in that it's more chilled. I don't have a belty voice at all, so it was perfect for that.
Absolutely perfect, Anne, and it does work. And some of your songs there, the one where you use we're talking about Free Falling. That's a fabulous song, and that opens with fantastic piano playing there. And as the song develops along, you get a really orchestral feel about it. And also, did you say as well, there's a bit of trad in there as well?
There is, yeah. That was unintentional trad, but I suppose it starts off with a slow air, and I always think that there's a lot of depth to the melodies, the slow airs of the Irish melodies. So yeah, I'm actually glad that I actually went down that route with it. I didn't intend it, but it goes into an orchestral thing, and it comes back at the end to the trad. But yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, Eileen, this album, this CD for you, it's got its own distinctive mark on it. Your layering and your music and the piano and the synth work fantastic together. But it sounds like it's your music. You own this music. It's your sound. Where do you think your influences come from, or did you work on your sound? How did you get that sound? Where did it come from?
Well, that's a very good question, because I'm not really sure. I know I like science fiction movies. I like music that takes you somewhere else. I like, so it's basically trying to create another world, that I can suck the listener into. So influences, I couldn't tell you directly, because you sort of, all the music that you listen to all your life, you pick bits and bobs. It's hard to know where it comes from. I don't listen to that much music, really, apart from what I have to do sort of in work. So, and I suppose it's always better not to listen to too much, in case you get influenced by one thing or the other. So you're better off with a clean slate. So I literally just sit down on you, and I go through my sound bank, and I pick a sound, and the humor could be different on a different day, and you might pick a different sound, but it's like the sound writes the tune, and then everything sort of grows from that. But when I sit down, I actually don't know what I'm going to write. I've no plan to write a particular thing. It's just like, okay, let's do a bit of messing around here and see what comes out. And that's how I do it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but actually you have created a sound. Listening to these tracks, you have created a sound. Can I go to one more song, The Return Home? It reminds me, very orchestral as well, and it reminds me of everything. But you said it takes you back. It takes you back to the 70s.
Oh, no, that's On the Road Again.
Oh, sorry, On the Road Again. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, On the Road Again takes you back.
Yes, I like that sort of Hammond organ type sound. It starts off with a guitar, but again, I started it off and didn't intend for it to be anything, and that's sort of where it went. And it turned into sort of a chill track that to me, it's sort of like a road trip sort of thing that you'd have on in the car, and you're just having a chill time. That's how I see it anyway, and whatever the listener gets from that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, Eileen. So you had a bit of help from your friend on the album. Andrew Malloy's bringing the soup in, and you had your cello player. I can't think of your name right now. Your cello player and your percussion. But do I hear song sisters and Hannah's in there?
No song sisters. All me.
That's all yourself. Well, that's absolutely all yourself. That's absolutely brilliant. Eileen, where do you go from here?
Where do I go? Look, it's a case of trying to get ears to listen, and you know, hopefully it'll fly somewhere, and somebody maybe pick up on it, or you know. But it would be great if people, you know, got something from it. I don't really have much control over that. It was, you know, I'll put it out there. I'll put it in all the right places, and but after that, I'd like to write more. I realised from the lockdown that I missed writing, and I really enjoyed the process. And you know, I just find it hard. You know, it's hard to, when you're working during the day. It's just hard to get into that headspace. So yeah, so lockdown was good. It sort of made me realise how much I missed it, because it was 5 years since the last album. And yeah, I'd love to be able to do it all myself, you know, and I'd love to, you know, do a course in sound engineer and be self-sufficient, that I can explore more. So that would be my hope in my head.
So you explained earlier that you got a grant, a COVID crisis grant from the council. That was a great help, Eileen. You probably wouldn't have been able to do it without that.
No, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So it was super, and I have to say the Arts Council have always been very generous. So any album that I've done, I've gotten something, even if it was just something to go towards it. So I can't praise the Arts Council high enough. So yeah, it was brilliant to get it.
Great stuff. So Eileen, one last thing to go. You have got your launch, and it's on Sunday, 8 o'clock, the 31st of January, and it's going to be on YouTube. So tell us how that goes. How do we log on?
So basically, if you put in my name on YouTube, I will have links on Facebook, but just put in Eileen Tackney. I'm the only Eileen Tackney in the world that I know of. So if you put my name in on YouTube, I'll come up, and like the link will be going around. So if you click on the link at the minute, it'll just say premiere in whatever 12, 13 days, and you can set a reminder, and that's it. So at 8 o'clock on the dot it'll start, and it'll just play the whole album, and people can decide if they like it. They might like to buy it, and then it comes down. Then after the launch, it comes off YouTube.
Okay, so how do people physically buy the album?
So you can buy the physical CD. You can buy on Bandcamp and through my website, eileentackney.com. There's a little thing on my website where you have to tick agree to terms and conditions before you proceed to payment. Some people had a bit of a problem with that. And it will be on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Deezer, it will be on all those platforms. So yeah, so that's EileenTackney.com and Bandcamp, as usual.
Okay, great stuff, Eileen. Just one last thing before we go. You have a lovely cover on your album. That's by local artist Jackie O'Neill. Your CD cover is fabulous.
Yes, it is. Yes, and Geraldine McDonald from Song Sisters, she actually did the back cover, which you don't have, but it'll be on the launch. You'll be able to see it on the launch. So yeah, it's always lovely to get people to do some artwork. On the last album, I got Jo Beth Young. She did the artwork for the last album. So she's a very talented lady. So yeah, it's nice to have the organic thing going.
Yeah. One last thing before we go, Eileen, is there anybody you'd like to thank in particular, in general?
I just want to thank my brother Kieran. Sue, Carolyn, Kieran, and Andrew, and Jo Beth Young. Jo Beth sang on my last album, and I mean, I am not a tech head, but my head was rightly melted, and she was so generous with her time, and she's helped me so much. So a big thank you to Jo, and big thank you to Paul Crooks as well, because Paul's given me a hand. Because it's very hard to do it all on your own, so it's nice to have the bit of help. And thank you to everybody who will buy it, hopefully. And I hope people get something from it.